To our apartment. Yes, I got a haircut.
We're back where it all began.
Yes, Norman got a haircut.
Yes, I got a haircut too.
And this is happening.
This is going on.
This is happening. All of you directors who definitely watch our videos, please stop making my husband have a beard in your shows. Okay?
There you go.
I have to live with him. He scratches up my face. Hey y'all. Hey everybody. I do not like this. Stop making my husband have a beard in shows, okay? Quit it, you all directors. I know Christoph Loy watches these.
Christoph is definitely watching this right now.
I know that.
And by the way, hi Christoph.
And I know that Pizzi is gonna watch it. All these folk who make you have a beard on your face. I can't even.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey guys, hey Aaron, hey Kiki, hey everybody.
How's it going?
We got all kinds of folk. So, we're trying to make this short. Also, I'm so hungry.
Yes, I'm hungry too. But we're gonna talk. This is gonna be a brief talk about.
Hi Angie Zoe.
This is gonna be a very brief talk about tension in the body.
Yes.
We can go, and I actually wrote a thing, which I might put it.
I'm gonna put that on the Living Opera website.
Which is actually a more extensive.
It's really good.
Thing about tension in the body. But this is just because that was also having to do with tension in the body on stage.
That's a whole. That's a whole plan.
And it was a plan, and it's a whole thing all by itself.
Yeah.
But today we're just going to talk about, in general, when you're in the practice room, or when you're working and singing with your coaches or your voice teachers, or you're just in there by yourself, whatever.
Yeah.
Ways to reduce tension while you're singing.
Yeah.
And.
And tension is different than stress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say that.
For sure. Yeah, we're not.
Yeah.
They're not the same things
in
this conversation.
Somebody who's not a singer wrote and was like, "Do you think that I can apply these techniques to my life?" And I was like, "Oh,
yeah, maybe." With what we're going to talk about, I don't know. If you can. Hey Dale. If you can or not, I don't know.
So I was walking. I had a coaching today.
Yes.
For Donna Elvira, and I'm leaving very soon to go to China and sing that. Is this kind of low? It's kind of inappropriate.
How you do it?
Pull this up a little bit. And I was like, oh my goodness, can I actually?
Here's our water glasses.
Oh, yeah.
I have to do water glasses. This is our water glasses.
Yeah, we have water glasses. We have our own collection back. So we're here.
Yes.
But I was like, oh my goodness, can I actually talk about this? What am I going to say? Last week we did a poll, and we asked people what they wanted to hear about. And actually, it was almost tied. It was almost tied because the two that were the most popular were this, managing tension in the body, and then all of the above.
All of the above, which is very fun.
We're going to do a video also on how to learn a long roll and also how to pack for a trip. So we'll do that. But I called Norman and I was like, I'm on my way to the coaching. What are we going to say? Do we actually know how to break this down for people? And then I had a couple of thoughts, and yeah.
Are you going to tell them what your thoughts are?
Yeah. So, okay. Hi.
You don't have to. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just like, I had a couple thoughts about this.
No. But okay, so first of all, my first thought was,
that's it.
This is something that we need to clear up right now, and besides all those directors that watch our videos.
And beards.
Yeah. All you singers that are hopefully going to watch this, you have to have tension in your body to sing. And our coach, Kristen, I don't know if you're going to watch this. Our coach, Kristen, is here at the Staatsoper. She's amazing. She's the best.
Yeah.
And she said, the German language has a bit more descriptive language for this. There's a difference between Spannung and verspannung. So Spannung is tension. Yeah. Verspannung is bad tension. Right, Daniel? Yeah. If you have a tense mind, you need to.
Then what we're talking about is not going to help you, because we're talking about something else.
No, but I thought I was like, oh man, that's a great differentiation. We don't have that in English.
Yeah, it is.
I guess.
We just have to say bad tension.
Bad tension.
We don't have a specific word.
So you need tension. If you don't have tension, this is what you're going to look like on stage. Yeah, and your voice. That's what Guy, you can actually. Hi, Letitia. You can actually see when singers don't have the right idea about tension, because there's something, especially for me, I really see it here. I see it's not.
Well, because if you're relaxing everything,
yeah,
then nothing is engaged.
Yeah.
And so you're just having to create sound and move air and all that kind of stuff, just with sheer willpower, and your brain telling you to just throw air all willy-nilly.
Good tension will lead to attention.
Good tension, nice.
I like that.
Yeah. So anyway, that is the first thing. Hey, Stephen Abernathy. How you doing, man?
Right. And so like where
is tension. It's about the right tension.
Yeah. So let's talk about quickly where in the body there's good tension. Does everybody know where their fifth rib is?
It's right in this area. I think. It might be on the right side. The fifth rib might be here.
No, Reinhardt. Ladies, it's easier for us. You literally need to feel where your bra is, and it's here. Okay?
There you go.
So
it's a little lower than the shoulder.
No, Reinhardt, do it.
It's right here.
Like you'll see, and especially times you'll see Sanders like walking around, especially when I'm walking around a person like this, like, feel this here. But why? It's because tension is about breathing, about having the right idea of breath. And then where am I going to send the tension in my body? If I do not direct it somewhere, it's going to end up in weird places.
Yeah.
And like when I went to Sherman, our teacher, I had all manner of problems. And like basically my idea about breathing was so off that this was actually totally collapsed. And for a while, and this isn't because he believes in this, but he's like, we have to get this engaged. He's like, I literally am going to need you to push this out here.
Yeah.
Because it's not engaged at
get
all.
It to release a little bit.
Yeah, because I had a stutter almost in my vibrato. It was so fast. It was not engaged enough, and you can hear that. It's not like that attractive fast vibrato in some older singers. It was like this was almost like paralyzed.
Matt Rose.
So anyway,
what up?
Hey Matt.
There.
Yay.
Yes, we are.
So yeah, you have to tell your body what it's going to do.
Yep.
So first is knowing your anatomy. Matt, don't say anything about anatomy.
What are my thoughts on the U.S. Open? I didn't get to watch it.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the U.S. Open, and it made me very sad. But
All right, you talk.
Wouldn't
about,
won.
You talk.
Great.
You talk about the thing.
Yeah, no. So for me, if we're talking about ways in which to release or relieve tension in the body, which is
weird.
Which is weird. Maybe I'm saying this in strange. I don't know. Release, relieve, get rid of tension in the body.
Okay.
The wrong kind of tension in the body.
Back.
For me, it's about for me, what helps me are just a few ways in which I set everything up. Low kind of breathing, support the voice but never get. Yeah, it can't. You don't want it to be hard. Yeah. For me, it's an aspect of kind of a low breath. The way in which I stand. Don't lock your knees.
Yes.
Don't lock the lower back actually too.
Yeah.
Which has to do with the way that I stand. You kind of release the lower back, which will actually kind of, it sounds weird, but it'll kind of, your butt will kind of go under you a little bit, as opposed to sticking out. But when you release, it's because you release the lower back, and your rear end will go whoop, and it's more like you sit straight on.
So, because like basically, right, what's happening in the neck, it's almost like mirrored in the whole body. And anybody who hasn't read Great Singers on Great Singing should definitely get that book, because Rosa Poncell talks about she calls it a box, right?
She calls it a box. Yeah.
But actually, you'll see every great singer doing this. There's a point of inhalation, and then you're trying to slow down the exhalation. And it is what you're trying to create is a tube that goes all the way from your soft palate all the way down. I mean, I think about it even going down just to like the tailbone. So I am figuring out a way using my body, and that's going to be between you and your teacher. We're not going to get into a singing lesson here. To slow down.
Everybody's going to feel that differently.
To slow down that exhale.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to know where to direct the tension. I mean, in the Italian school, we call it appoggio sostegno. That's what it is. Is saying, okay, I'm going to use these muscles to perform this activity. There's muscles here that are going to have to block out, and it's basically blocking out the whole body. And you can actually tell without even watching. The low larynx, that will happen anyway if these muscles are directed in the right way. That is a byproduct. That's not, I don't force my larynx down. That's a byproduct of all these muscles working properly. You can actually watch a video without sound and know if a singer has good technique or not. You really can, because you can see what's happening in the face, what's happening in the body. We're so sound-based now. That's a whole other topic. But you can see if somebody has managed to command the body in a certain way. But one of the main things we wanted to say today is if you're in a studio with someone, especially for the young singers, if you're in a studio with somebody and they're like, oh yeah, you need to be free of all tension, what you need to do is you need to pay that person, leave, and never go back. Because you aren't going to learn how to sing.
There you go.
Yeah. You have to have tension in the body, but it's the good kind. And
I mean, to really talk about what tension to release versus not release, then you have to get into technical things that what's good tension and what's bad tension, and we all feel tension differently. So then you have all of that. For me, it's very much about the setup, which is what I was talking about how I set up the breath,
yes.
how I set up the body, I set up a line that's a straight line.
Yeah.
I like to breathe as low as possible and actually aim the breath down between my feet, not out this way. I actually aim the breath straight down. That way I get a lower breath, so if I can feel as much bass as possible. Which I did not know this, but women feel breath differently and deeper than men do.
Yeah.
Men will feel, not that men cannot feel a lower breath, but women, just because of the way they're built, they can feel something that is deeper. And so while for me, I may not necessarily feel, way down, I can imagine it, and it does help.
Yeah.
So I aim it right between my feet. And then I think about, for me, a column, and it's the same kind of thing, a column of sound too. And yeah. And
what,
so
I think
that's a
that,
basic thing
that our teacher talks about that is a really great image. When we're talking about, so I talk about the fifth rib, which needs to stay, expanded, not in a tense holding way, but this needs to be, hey Dorothea, this needs to be expanded and strong. When I was learning how to support properly, he talked about an image of a bucket, and the handle on a bucket, it doesn't go straight up, it kind of goes out. And he was like, imagine that this is sort of like this too. It's buoyant and it sort of moves in this direction. It doesn't just go straight out or straight down. It's got this sort of curve to it. It promotes flexibility. It's a bit of an obtuse description if we weren't working individually. But can you get the notes back up? I just want to make sure that we covered what we wanted to say, because this is a very complicated conversation.
Yeah,
obviously, if I were to tell somebody, like if somebody was wanted just the basic thing, I'd say breathe. Hopefully you have the right information to know what to do after that breath.
Yeah.
But the simplest thing, if I ever feel stress in the practice room or on stage, I always go back to the breath and say, have I actually engaged the breath, or am I just sort of like gasping for air? Am I sort of like grabbing for air?
Yeah.
That
also, too, if
slows everything down.
If you find that to be the case, if you're gasping for air, now this is more of an advanced thing, but there are times in phrases where you need like a really quick breath, and so we're not talking about that. But if you're kind of gasping for air and this kind of thing in general, then the breath will be shallow.
It will create more of the wrong kind of tension. A lot of people have problems with the basics already, so bring it on.
Oh.
Well, that was me. I just sang by sound. I didn't know anything now.
Well, this is very important. It's going to be in the article actually, but one of the most important things as a singer is that singing is not about sound. Singing is about feel.
Yes.
if you get the feel right,
Yes.
the sound will be there.
Yes.
If you have a good voice, the voice is going to sound great.
Yes.
So you're not pursuing a sound, you're pursuing a feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that will be very important, and again, this will be in the article too, is body awareness. Body
Yes.
awareness is huge.
That's everything.
You have to be aware of everything your body's doing.
Yeah.
Not so that you can micromanage it, but so that you can pinpoint exactly what needs to go on.
Yeah.
Because there's a balance. And so body awareness is huge.
Yes.
And yeah, Steve Smith. Hey, yeah, I know Steve. Steve's great.
Dorothea says, I'm doing the same. Talks about, sorry, what's this say here? Breath, singing on the breath. Yeah, you have to sing on the breath because if you don't, everything's locked up.
That's right.
You know, and it all takes, it slows everything down. That's just a great thing. Like, you want to slow everything down and prep every time a phrase comes. You don't want to ever sing a phrase that hasn't been prepped beforehand. My teacher Steve Smith talked to me about creating the process each time you sing, and I agree with that.
I agree with you too.
It's
Steve's
set,
right.
set
right
and reset, set and reset.
By the way,
reset.
tell Steve I say hi. Tell him I say hi.
Aaron says, do you ever find yourself in situations where you started a phrase without the proper setup and attack? How do you fix this mid-phrase, especially if a compromised high note is coming? Oh my gosh,
yes,
of course.
Everybody has, everybody does.
Yeah. Of course.
It depends. Sometimes, and I've had this happen many times, you'll be singing and maybe you don't prep it right, and you just give up on that phrase and you wait for the next one. Sometimes you can adjust at mid-phrase.
Yeah.
That actually to me is a, how can I explain this? Because for me, if I'm in the middle of a phrase and I need to adjust something quickly, it will be about this. It's going to be about this part of the body. It won't be about something here unless you're talking about an opening.
But again, it all goes back to
it's
the.
going to be about
it all
this.
goes back to the breath. So if you, I'm trying to think of a phrase that happens on sometimes. Well, anyway, if you have to stop and restart. I would have to know what phrase you're referring to, but there's always a way to get more air when you need it. But.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's
and sometimes you sing about high note too.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about air. It's about like if you need more air. If you need more air, you just take a breath in the middle of a phrase and don't worry about it. It's fine, and that's also one way to do it. Just take that phrase out of context and build the breath from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Anything like that, if you're in a phrase and you want a phrase to be a certain way,
yes,
take it out of context
and this is another talk, but if the high note is off, it almost always means there's a problem in the passaggio or the note just before is off. And so it's not always about the high note, it's usually about the prep just before. And guys, it's really hard to get a teacher that can work for every voice. If you have somebody that works for you, make sure you're continuing to study. Just because you have a job doesn't mean you don't need to study anymore. I decided to myself too, because I had a chance to show it in some months. Singing is so active, and it's a very athletic profession. So if you walk on stage and you haven't worked out how exactly you're going to use this mechanism, you're going to see weird stuff with your tongue, you're going to see weird stuff with your jaw, you're going to probably be out of tune,
And also too, you'll learn that from being on stage.
Yeah.
And part of it is experiential.
Yeah.
So you can only be in the practice room, and then there's that point where you got to walk on a stage and come what may, you just go with it.
Yeah. And I always feel like a much more expansion in everything when I go on stage. With the breath of everything. And
for sure.
My breath always feels
it's a different energy. It's a different energy when you walk on stage.
But
if we're talking about tension.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any more questions? I feel like we covered our points. And Norman has written this great article for the Living Opera website, and
I have to finish it.
I think you guys know what it is, but it's www.livingopera.org. And this will go into much more detail about how to really manage this. This is just a few snippets, a few ideas.
Because ultimately, you deal with this stuff in a practice room.
Yeah.
It's all about preparation.
Yeah.
and then you'll know what to do on stage.
Yeah.
But it really is about preparation and training yourself in a practice room, by yourself, with your coaches, with your teachers. So yeah, that's what the art is about.
Yeah.
Basically. I go to the gym 3 times a week to work chest and back.
Okay.
Nice.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Are you lifting? Are you doing, like, what are you doing? Just be really careful with that.
Hi, Michelle.
With your breath, you don't want to get into a kind of breathing in the gym that goes into your singing. I've done that, and it can be hard to get out of. But anyway, I'm sure you know that. Are there any questions? Because we're about to jump off of here.
Yeah.
I think that we've covered our.
Yeah, I think we hit what we were going to talk about today.
I have a new video coming about one of the ways that I learn my music, which is super geeky.
Remind me, I have to say something to Aaron after you're.
Okay, I'm done. Say something to Aaron.
Oh no, hey Aaron, I suck because you've written me like 5 messages on Facebook and I haven't responded to any of them yet, and I have to respond to them. I promise I will. Hey Kevin. So I apologize right now, because you wrote me some really good things on there, and I need to write back to you about that because they're really good, and I'll do it.
He's gonna do it.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
So, whoa, I'm sweating.
Babe, it's hot. It's so hot.
It's very hot here.
It's crazy hot in Vienna.
Wow,
But anyway,
weird.
so guys, thank you for joining us.
Sorry.
We will edit this. We'll put this on YouTube. Thank you to our subscribers on YouTube.
Yes, thank you very much.
I think we're up to 106 now.
Are we up to 106?
Yeah, our YouTube channel is Living Opera with Sula and Norman. Or Sula and Norman.
Nice. She does exercise. Exercises for strength.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, we have to be strong to do this job. That's good. It's really good. But we appreciate so much that you guys are enjoying our videos, and that you watch them, and that you give feedback. And we are looking forward to this summer to see what else this might become.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know it was going to have such a response like it has, and we have our 4 people that join us every week and write messages. And
we're going to work
really
on.
Glad it's helping you.
Yes, we're going to work on trying to expand it and do a few things with it. So
we're going to go have dinner.
Yeah, we're going to go eat some food.
We'll edit this and get it up as soon as possible.
Thanks so much.
Hope you all have a great night.
Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.